Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Fry from Jefferson, and we are back looking at synthesizing our knowledge. Today, we're going to look at our anchor chart for synthesize. And this is a review chart because you've seen this already this year, but we're going to look back as a wrap up for Module 7 about synthesizing our knowledge. When you synthesize your thinking, it changes and you form new ideas. So the first picture shows a person thinking, what I know. At first I was thinking this because of this. The ... stands for where you would fill in the blank of what you were thinking and why you were thinking it. Then the second person says what I'm learning now. So what I'm learning is when I was reading, I was thinking blank because of blank. Then you put down what you know and what you've learned, and you equal new understanding, which is the light bulb at the bottom. So your new understanding comes when you put together what you already knew with what you're now learning. By the end, I was thinking blank because of blank. So this is what you do when you go through a review process, like a wrap-up of a module. So when we look back over some of our stories and words that we've thought about this module, I want you to look back through your My Book, and we're going to just review some things to think about. So we're going to synthesize our knowledge, is what that's called. So when I'm looking at the next section, I want you to turn to page 76 and 77 in your My Book. You did this page, one of your first things that you did was look at the big idea words. The words on the chart are words that you use throughout the stories, and they helped you understand. These are traditional story words. So you had the word trickster, you had the word shrewd, you had the word exaggeration, and legendary. Part of the activity that you had to do throughout this module was you were supposed to go through and think of synonyms, words that mean the same, synonyms that would go in the box on page 77 for each of these words. Now, if you didn't know what the words meant, they gave you a meaning chart here. A trickster is a character who deceives or tricks others and usually gets something from them. And then they gave you an idea from the story. The fox is often portrayed as a crafty trickster in folk tales. Now, what I want you to do is in your class right now with your friends or maybe just at home, look at your chart on page 77. On this chart, you drew or you wrote down some words that related to the story. So talk about with a friend right now, what exactly did you write down? What words did you put for trickster, for shrewd, for exaggeration, and for legendary? Again, that's page 77 in your My Book. And this would have already been filled out when you were working on this previously in your class. If you need to pause right here, you can pause the lesson and then have your discussion. And I'm going to keep on moving on to the next page. And then feel free to pause throughout the lesson anytime when there's a discussion part. The next thing I want you to look at is I want you to turn your page to the knowledge map. And that knowledge map is on page 78 and 79. So on the knowledge map, it reviews the types of traditional stories that you could look at. Now, as you were doing your story with your teacher, you might have been filling this in along the way, or maybe you're taking time to go back right now and fill this in. When you're looking back at the stories that we've read, I'm going to show you a filled out knowledge map in just a second. It's pretty massive to look at it all filled out. So as you're filling it out, it's good because you can take your time looking at everything. As you're looking through this, think about which ones were the folk tales, which stories were legends, tall tales, trickster tales, and fables. So go ahead and look at your book right now. Again, this is on page 78 and 79. And how did you build your map out? What did you add to yours? Talk with your friend or your neighbor or with your parents and explain why you chose to put the story where you put it and what was your proof or evidence that that was the right place. Did your mind change after starting? Is the knowledge you had at the beginning, did it change after reading the stories and then you built onto your knowledge and now you think differently? Would you have known how to fill this map out at the beginning of the lesson if you had not taken the time to learn the different types of stories? Maybe you had a past knowledge of some of these types, or maybe you're understanding it even better now. You can pause again if you need to have a discussion. I'm going to keep going to the next slide, which shows you what the map actually looks like filled out. Now again, I said it's a little hectic. There's lots on this page, kind of hard to see it all. So we're just going to take a few minutes and talk about it. So on the traditional stories where it said folk tale, the folk tale that you read was in the days of King Adobe. It says the old woman outsmarts the thieves. So that was just an idea of what the story was about. It tells us what happened. And there was a lesson learned in the folk tale. You might have written down what the lesson was that was learned, but that's the key takeaway is there's a lesson that was learned. If you look over to legend, the legend was the legend of 10 sons. This was a hero story. It was a story that explains how something happened. If you come over to the next section, it shows you tall tales. In the tall tales, you read a tall tale called Thunder Rose. When you read the tall tale Thunder Rose, it told you things that were larger than life, exaggerated stories, strong. This is a place where hyperboles exist when you're telling something with an extreme exaggeration, which again, that's the reason for the word tall tale, because it is tall or it is exaggerated. Then you have at the bottom the trickster tales. We had 2 trickster tales here, and that was the fox and the crow and the raven and the crayfish. In these stories, one character tricks another character. So it's kind of easy to find those because you have that trickster type of activity going on. Then you come over to the other type, and that is the fable. So check and see if you wrote down the raven and the crayfish. It's also a fable, and the fox and the crow. So they're known as fables and trickster tales. One reason that they're known as a fable is because they also have a moral to tell. There is a lesson learned in the story. So look and see if you were able to identify which of the stories went on each of the little sections there. This is your time to check over your pages, and if you didn't write it exactly like that, you could fill it in now, or you could add it. If you've missed something, you can add that information to it. It's okay, because we're learning this and we're figuring out where do all these stories go and how do they match up exactly. Now remember, you're synthesizing, so maybe you already knew where something went and it was easy for you. Or maybe you had to put your new gained knowledge into work here and put it into what you equal now, which means what you now know, based off of what you knew before and put together. Now, after you've checked that page, we're going to move over to making connections. Now, this is a new anchor chart. You might have seen this anchor chart before, but even if you have, we're just going to review it today because today is like a review of the module again. You are making connections. When you make connections, this is when you read and you find the ways that the text is like things in your own life and other texts that you might have read. This is always a great thing. When you make a connection, it feels like you understand it even better. So some examples of this are text to self. This is when you connect the text to your own life. Like when you're reading a story, you might say, oh, this reminds me of when I was doing whatever. Text to text. This is when you connect the text to a text that you've read before. Like, oh, this information is like another book that I read. Many times that happens in the classroom when we're reading stories. We think, oh, I read a book like that last year, or I'm reading a book at home like that right now. Sometimes it doesn't relate to yourself as far as your own life, but it's definitely something you've read before or seen before. And then the last one is called text to world. This is when you can connect the text that you're reading to the world around you. So this would be an example like when something is happening in your community and then you're also reading about it. I know that one of the things that's coming up is in your life, like you might have an event coming up and then all of a sudden you're reading a book about it. And maybe there's also something happening in the town about the same topic. So it could be that it's a text to self and a text to world. So it could be that you connect it in more than one way. It doesn't have to just connect one way. Now I want you to turn in your books back to page 74 and 75. That's in your My Book, and that was the beginning page, and I'm going to click over there for you. On the first page, it was called The Tricksters and Tall Tales. And what I want you to look at is I want you to look down at the picture, the visual, and then look at the quote. There is magic to storytelling. I want you to right now discuss what exactly does that mean, that there's magic to storytelling. What is the author of this module meaning when they say there's magic to storytelling? Why do you think they chose that person's quote to put there? Maybe time to talk about that with your neighbor or someone that you're with. And you can think back to the stories that you read. Why did those stories, did they feel like they have magic in them? What would the storytelling have been? Look at the picture here. It's really interesting to look at the imagination that is coming out of the fire there. So again, an author uses visuals sometimes to get us excited. So there is magic to storytelling. What does that mean to you? What did it mean before this module, and what does it mean now? Next, we're going to look at the essential question that you looked at before you started this entire module and see if you can answer this question and have a discussion with someone that you're with today. What lessons can you learn from the characters in these traditional tales? So when you think about all the stories that you read, I want you to think about your own life. What connections are you making? Is there a connection to your life, to a story you read before? Is there a connection to the world? Think back to the anchor chart. What are the lessons that you've learned from these characters? In other words, what are the connections that you have to these stories? Take some time and discuss that today. How much you enjoyed the Module 7, the different stories that you read, what were the connections that you made, and why do you think the author chose to say that there's magic in storytelling? I hope that you've enjoyed Module 7, and I'm sure that we can look forward to Module 8 being great as well.